On the other hand, arbitration to actually negotiate a labor contract is very rare. There's almost no approval by industry and organized labor for using arbitration as a means of breaking deadlocks in the negotiations of the agreements, provisions. So understanding that this arbitration, the arbitrator's decision is going to be binding on the parties, all must prepare to formally present the complete case. The union and the management of the contractor must put the arbitrator in the position to make a decision in light of the evidence and of the relevant contractual clauses. The arbitrator wants and the parties must fully prepare before coming to the hearing. Accumulation of all the evidence, facts, documents, arguments that may have a bearing. The selection of witnesses who can give relevant testimony in the case. Arbitration is normally much more formal than grievance procedure meetings, though less formal than court proceedings. It proceeds by the presentation of relevant documents, careful questioning of witnesses. Indeed, arbitration cases are not won on the basis of emotional appeals, theatrical gestures, or speech making. Unless pre-hearing briefs are filed by the parties, the arbitrator likely knows absolutely nothing about the case until it's presented in the briefing itself. So the arbitrator's responsibility is to apply the contract. They must use the language of the labor contract in the case. The language of that labor agreement binds the employer, the union, the employees, and the arbitrator. It's not within the scope of the arbitrator's authority to decide whether a particular contractual clause is wise or unwise, desirable or undesirable. The arbitrator's job is to apply the language of the labor contract as he or she finds it specific to the case. Only when the contractual language is ambiguous will the arbitrator consider evidence demonstrating industry or party practice, best practices. In fact, there's a requirement for fairness, and that doesn't mean charity or compromise in an attempt to please both parties. Before hearing a case, each arbitrator normally takes a solemn oath of office to decide the dispute based on the evidence free of any bias. The following is an embarrassing incident for an arbitrator that I'd like you to consider. Professor Grover Harrison has been selected as an impartial ad hoc arbitrator by union management, none of whose principles he has ever met. Eating his breakfast alone in a booth in the dining room of the hotel in which the hearing was being held, he overhears the following words emanating from the next booth. Well, of course, it's not the truth, but if we're going to have a chance of winning this thing, we damn well better consistently stick to our claim that the supervisor on at least one occasion made lewd and suggestive remarks to Mary. She can be counted on to testify this way at the hearing, and she's a good enough liar so that there's no chance of her being shaken in cross-examination.
Yeah, so another discussion. So I will give you like 3 minutes, and then after that, please share your view.
Snapchat with like Purdue yelling. What was this purpose over? Wait, if you were Harrison, what if anything would you do? Crossing.
So maybe
shaking.
maybe I will discuss with like Dr. Penny to consider giving the group of students the like extra like points in your grade if you like put answer these kind of questions. So yeah, I know like already two groups present. So you and you. So presenters send me the email with the name of the group, name of the student in the group, and I will give you the extra point after this also with the.
Professor Grover, I will totally help you. Professor Grover has been selected as a partial ad hoc arbitrator by
If anything, I feel like I wouldn't say anything. I would just make it so that you can see me and be aware of exactly.
Are you answering the question?
Yes.
Is it time? I got
Remember,
it.
I jumped the gun and get extra credit. No one else was jumping on it.
Everyone give an
So I will give you a chance after like 1 minute. Okay.
Dude, I mean, like,
Everyone
Saw this
upset
bitch out,
that.
I'd be like, listen here.
Oh my God.
Won't let that mistake happen again.
You just jumped the gun a little bit.
Yeah, we'll take a few guys.
I feel terrible, Judge.
You would have to.
What is an
ad hoc, it's like a law term, a legal term. I've only seen it on like, have you ever, what is it? It's just like it's like an impartial like mediator kind of. You're arbitrating both sides. You have no loyalties to either.
I still arbitrate and send bitches and die.
I think you are no longer. Oh, am I really?
Okay, wait a minute. So time's up. So I think I will give you.
Can I go first?
When are our tests?
I forgot your name. So what's your name?
No, I'm alright.
Just give me a chance.
I'm ready.
You should play a name game.
Are you ready or?
I already said it.
I bet.
Say it again.
I said I probably wouldn't say anything, but I'd make it so you could see me and take a look at, reflect on what he's been saying and realize the audience that he had. He's the same thing.
Okay.
So really just put the ball back in his court and see what he'll do, knowing that you were there.
Okay. Yeah. So
Christy,
yeah, Christy.
I think that you should give up his position as impartial ad hoc arbitrator because he's no longer impartial.
I think you put the response right in the next page. No?
No.
Because this is
I just have
exactly
to
the
know.
same.
I can do that.
Yeah, so Sam, please do not make your name, okay?
Okay.
But actually my intention is to like give all the different groups a chance to get the extra point. Okay, so actually this is the kind of like I will give you the like extra point as a group. So if you have already like get extra point, then you don't have to.
I have the same answer as Christy, but she already got the right answer.
So we sent him.
You don't have to, Christy, you just said.
Christy, we should have the entire class.
My response would be to stand up, walk over to the table, inform them of what you just heard and who you are. Give them a chance to explain adequately if they can. If not, inform them that you withdraw from being the arbitrator because you are not anymore impartial. Further, that you will inform the opposition of what you heard and offer to testify to the same in any subsequent hearing if requested. Further, I would tell them that they should be profoundly ashamed of themselves and that in my experience, integrity yields far more opportunity and benefit in the long run than deceit in any of its forms. Sooner or later, everyone sits down to their banquet of consequences. Their feet free to make decisions, and consequences flow from those decisions. as naturally as night falls.
So basically, he's not mad, he's just
There's a dissenting view regarding arbitration. Years ago, a forceful and controversial leader of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, Papa, explained his adamant opposition to arbitration as follows. Even if it takes 1 or 2 hours or longer for management and the union to work out a grievance, settle it among themselves, we are better off knowing the business as we do from both sides than to submit to a grievance to some third party who attempts to please both sides and who actually pleases nobody. In my opinion, the best method of settling grievances is to leave open the end for final settlement. We cannot mutually agree either for the employer to lock out the union or for the union to strike the employer. If we don't come out with a completely satisfactory settlement, we come out with a settlement both sides can live with, and one that doesn't change the terms of the contract. So what do you think of this argument and why? Let's pause and discuss that.
Yeah, another discussion. So, I hope like the other group didn't present, share their answers. Maybe you guys can get asked
I think when you said our team's got the answer.
Okay, so these 2 groups are separate teams.
We can be one team. We can be one team. But if not, I want to go first. Chrissy, take my
For
answer.
like 1 minute, then I will.
We can only I think it's true. Like when it comes to a grievance, like someone isn't like going to be personally affected. I'm still making some shit. Anybody want to like BS? My BS is pure crap. Well, I just think I get it. Like I get the point. Like if you, because sometimes when you're setting a grievance, you want a firm, complete answer. When an arbitrator is just going to try to please both sides, and sometimes like one person is wrong, and you don't want to take the fault for someone being wrong, which is what arbitrator does. They make sure like both sides are getting what they want. Sometimes one person just sucks. They need to be told that. These are
Good answer.
I swear to God, on Thursday, I can almost guarantee this group chat will be insane.
Oh,
I
God.
can almost guarantee.
Oh, everyone's gonna be the cactus.
I was in one random one, like when that thing first came out, and I was like, I need to be that one.
So,
Marissa.
another discussion. So, okay.
Oh, okay. So I think it's understandable the way he says, like, you don't want an arbitrator there, because an arbitrator, like, wants to please both sides, and sometimes when it comes to grievance, someone is at fault and should be reprimanded for those actions. But an arbitrator is going to want to make sure that they're both, like, it's going to be a mutual ending where they're both going to have to face some pros and cons, when in some grievance situations, somebody should, like, win. An arbitrator wants it to be like a tie. So I think it's understandable, this argument.
Oh, yeah,
It's pretty acceptable.
yeah, that's great. So, what do you think? Like, do you think like so based on what you told me, so do you think like one of the arbitrators like role is to like find the solutions which pleased both parties, like?
Yeah, arbitrators, they try to please both parties, but in a sense, like, I don't know, like, if an employer was, like, wrongfully acting towards an employee, in a sense, like, they are 100% at fault, and the employee shouldn't have to give up anything to come to a mutual agreement, which is what an arbitrator would try to do.
So then could you please also tell me what is the difference between mediator and arbitrator in this case? Yeah.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie, I believe an arbitrator and a mediator were very similar.
Okay.
But yeah.
That mediator just kind of talks to the
Yes.
arbitrators and like.
My response is that arbitrators are not doing their job anytime they try to please both parties. That is the job of a mediator. Better yet, that is the job of leadership, to deliver mutual benefit by developing a shared vision wherein everyone wins and the process to get there. Once relationships break down to the point of need for settlement by a third party, arbitration is often an excellent method before resorting to strike or lockout. Okay, some more discussions, questions. It's generally agreed that a low grievance rate does not necessarily prove the existence of good union management relations. That a high grievance rate does not necessarily prove the existence of poor relations between parties. Why might the grievance statistics be misleading as a guide to the quality of the relationship?
Okay.
Who saves that?
Wait, did I say anything?
I mean, you used to that?
I didn't say anything. I don't know how this works.
This one, they last for 24 hours.
I don't know what these words.
Groups last for 24 hours, that's how.
My mom takes screenshots of my Snapchats all the time because she's like, I want to see it. I'll get 10 seconds.
Oh my god.
I sent you that one specifically so you wouldn't see what I'm saying.
Mom screenshotted one of my Instagram, posted on purpose, but like didn't fit it, so you could see like the heart in the chat thing. I was like, Mom, you could just like shift it down. Wait, where is it? It's so
So,
good.
who wants to present?
So we talked about how if workers are too afraid of management to bring anything up, then you're gonna have a low grievance rate. But they're more scared into not complaining than actually happy with their situation. The same thing is true if it's a very open relationship. They might bring up arguments just so they can get taken care of because they trust management to address them.
Yes, you're right. This is a kind of hard system, right? Sometimes people want to say some people because yes,
It was
actions after like anything so okay.